सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ओम ओम नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्ध ज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशांताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शंकरं लोकशंकरम्। ओम शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ओम विदिताखिलशास्त्रसुधा जलधे महितोपनिषत्कथितार्थनिधे हृदये कलये विमलं चरणं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम्। ओम समस्त ब्रह्म विद्या आचार्येभ्यो नमः ऋषिभ्यो नमः मुनिभ्यो नमः गुरुभ्यो नमः देवताभ्यो नमः परब्रह्मणे नमः श्रुतिमात्रे नमः वेदव्यासमहर्षये नमः वैशम्पायनमहर्षये नमः याज्ञवल्क्यमहर्षये नमः आद्यशङ्करसद्गुरवे नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। Having saluted to the Guru's masters, let us do our everyday's practice of chanting few mantras of the Taittiriya Upanishad for our wonderful practice as well as tuning with utmost Shraddha and application. Today we will be chanting the third Bhrigu Valli. ओम अथ श्री कृष्ण यजुर्वेदांतर्गत तैत्तिरीय उपनिषद पारायणम् अथ तृतीया भृगुवल्ली। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। भृगुर्वैवारुणिः वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीः भगवो ब्रह्मेति तस्मा एतत्प्रोवाच अन्नं प्राणं चक्षुश्रोत्रं मनोवाचमिति तगं होवाच यतो वा इमानि भूतानि जायन्ते येन जातानि जीवन्ते यत्प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्ति तद्विजिज्ञासस्व तद्ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा अन्नं ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात्। अन्नाद्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते अन्नेन जातानि जीवन्ते अन्नं प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्ते ते तद्विज्ञाय पुनरेव वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीः भगवो ब्रह्मेति तगं होवाच तपसा ब्रह्म विजिज्ञासस्व तपो ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा प्राणो ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात्। प्राणाद्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते प्राणेन जातानि जीवन्ते प्राणं प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्ति ते तद्विज्ञाय पुनरेव वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीः भगवो ब्रह्मेति तगं होवाच तपसा ब्रह्म विजिज्ञासस्व तपो ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा मनो ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात्। मनसो ह्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते मनसा जातानि जीवन्ति मनः प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्ते ते तद्विज्ञाय पुनरेव वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीहि भगवो ब्रह्मेति तगुंहोवाच तपसा ब्रह्म विजिज्ञासस्व तपो ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा विज्ञानं ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात् विज्ञानाध्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते विज्ञानेन जातानि जीवन्ते विज्ञानं प्रयन्त्यपि संविशन्तीति तद्विज्ञाय पुनरेव वरुणं पितरमुपससार अधीहि भगवो ब्रह्मेति तगुंहोवाच तपसा ब्रह्म विजिज्ञासस्व तपो ब्रह्मेति स तपोतप्यत स तपस्तप्त्वा आनन्दो ब्रह्मेति व्यजानात् आनन्दाध्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते आनन्देन जातानि जीवन्ति आनन्दं प्रयन्त्यपि संविशन्तीति सैषा भार्गवी वारुणी विद्या परमे व्योमन् प्रतिष्ठिता य एवं वेद प्रतिष्ठति अन्नवानन्नादो भवति महान् भवति प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्मवर्चसेन महान् कीर्त्या ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ओम अतः श्रीकृष्णयजुर्वेदान्तर्गत तैत्तिरीय आरण्यकान्तर्गत तैत्तिरीय शाखान्तर्गत तैत्तिरीय उपनिषद ओम यस्माज्जातं जगत्सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रलीयते येनेदं धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं तैत्तिरीयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरुचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते अथ प्रथमा शिक्षा वल्ली शान्तिमन्त्रः ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतो तद्वक्तारमवतो अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ अथ अष्टमोऽनुवाकः प्रणवोपासना ॐ ओमिति ब्रह्म ओमितीदं सर्वम् ओमित्येतदनुकृतिः स्म वा अप्यो श्रावयेत्याश्रावयन्ते ओमिति सामानि गायन्ते ॐ सोमिति शस्त्राणि शगुंसन्ति ओमित्यध्वर्युः प्रतिगरं प्रतिगृणाते ओमिति ब्रह्मा प्रसौति ओमित्यग्निहोत्रमनुजानाति ओमिति ब्राह्मणः प्रवक्ष्यन्नाह ब्रह्मोपाप्नवानीति ब्रह्मैवोपाप्नोति ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः Shanti. It's grace of Lord Gurus that we are in to the study of Upanishads. But like any of the success in any of the field demands for our full attention, full application, so too the spirituality demands our total full application. First, the time is involved only in this one. Second, the mind is fully involved in that without any digressing thoughts. And when that way the time is fully given for this pursuit, the mind also fully applied for this pursuit, then our attentive, alertful surrender and devotion first to the Guru Maharaj, then to the Shruti Mata. With that devotion and surrender to the Guru Maharaj and the Shruti Mata, when the Guru is teaching the Shruti to us, fully we are involved in trying to grasp every aspect of what is said. Having grasped or tried to grasp, when we do our own manana, with any of the doubts, confusions are there, we have to sort out them to have such a clarity without any trace of even doubt. This is the first portion of a serious, sincere sadhaka. The second portion is with the same utmost sincerity and seriousness. He is fully involving himself in the sadhanas taught, in the sadhanas learnt, in the sadhanas convinced about. While doing that sadhanas consistently, whatever the inherent obstacles, outer obstacles come, he is not giving away sadhana till the goal is reached. In this way, whoever have fully themselves applied to spirituality, they have got the vijaya or success. Those who have only the vagueness in their understanding, superficial sincerity in their learning, and not that much total liking for spirituality. Still, the mind is wandering in the world outside, along with its own the projections, the Rajoguna, its own lethargies, Tamoguna. Such people are called as Manda Madhyamadhikari. They will not be able to know the total spiritual life's beauty, nor they will enjoy doing the sadhana, nor they will get the result. So you and I, as now 2 years we have studied, so again it should be a re-beginning to us, restart to us. If we continue the study of Upanishads, but what we add to ourselves is how much along with the time and mind we are fully focusing exclusively to this study and sadhana. This is a challenge to ourselves. Then the second one is when any of these upasana sadhanas are told, whether it is the external upasanas of the Samhita upasanas, the Medha mantras, Avahanti mantras, these are all the external upasanas, or the internal upasanas of the Vyahrutis or the internal upasanas of Pranava. Are we fully engaged in trying to understand them? Have we fully understood them? And have we understood the Siddhi aspect in them? Siddhi is what is the goal to be achieved through those practices. Then have we thoroughly understood the sadhana aspect of them? Then how much we are able to spare ourselves for this sadhana. The day remains same of 24 hours. The obligations and duties remain same. The temptations in the mind will be there to eat or sleep. Then lot of other invitations come. Mind also with its own not yet trained or prepared position. Because you are not done for years together intense various tapasyas and upasanas to gather the concentration of the mind, to gather the subtlety of the mind, to gather the sattva gunata of the mana. So that also is the biggest obstacle. So this way the mind has to be prepared with its own sattva guna, ekagrata and shuddhata and sukshmata, and also the mind has to be prepared that now I am a spiritual seeker studying the shastras, thoroughly understanding them to follow what is said in the shastras scrupulously to reach to the goal indicated by them. In this, we have to be very clear. We are not like now any onlookers of the texts, any passers by of the satsanga who just visit as a guest and go away. Our devotion to Bhagavan and gratitude for giving us this opportunity, our devotion to the entire Guru Tattva, Guru Parambara, and the Gurus of those Upanishads and the Guru Maharaj, sincere utmost, and our respectful reverential attitude toward the Shastra and our genuine, serious, sincere application to understand it right from everyday parayanam, right from everyday seeing the word meaning, everyday trying to understand the total sentence meaning. And in that, what is that Guru trying to teach us as the Vastu to be gained, the Sadhya, as the sadhana to be done, the sadhana. This is how we have to make our personalities. In that genuine, complete, willing application of ours alone, there is a joy of doing sadhana and there is a joy of reaching to the next stages or the heights. Maybe all that way by invoking Guru's Krupa, Ishvara Krupa, by invoking our own willingness, our own willpower, our own likingness, involved in our Adhyatmikata so beautifully, so truly, so sincerely that there is a joy of doing it. And when we do it with this genuineness, definitely the result will come. Fully apply in that. And while doing so, it is not such a greatest sadhana we can do because our just state of beginning, immediate results may not come. Yet we continue doing it with the same inspiration, with same readiness, with same willingness, with same acceptance. In this way, we should find within ourselves the completely committed Adhyatmika Sadhaka. Completely committed Adhyatmika Sadhaka in me, I have to discover. In me, I have to find. In me, I have to prepare. To me, the whole life is only Adhyatmikata. The goal is only Paramatma. Nothing else, nothing else. In this way, when we become, then only all our abilities, resources, without distraction or wastage, are utilized for spiritual sadhana, which is most essential. That's why the earlier days, these seekers used to leave everything, go to the ashrama jungle, and then they used to gather themselves fully and apply for that sadhana. And they only could become that way very deeper and subtler in their sadhanas and even reach out to the goal. We now, if at all, still are in two boats of worldliness and spirituality. Worldliness, let us do seriously, sincerely every duty what we need to do. But more than that, let that not be our goal. It is a means. Being in the world is a means for our antakarana shuddhi. Being in the world is a means for our clearing all the debts. Being in the world also is a field of experiment for us, whether what we have studied in the Shastra we are able to practice while in the world or not. In this way, world is always useful. That much use we have to have of the world. More than that, the world should not become more important than our sadhana. In these few aspects, when we take care, we can truly help ourselves. Okay. Now, what is being taught so far in all our six, seven anuvakas, seven, eight anuvakas is what? Upasana is taught. Upasana is taught with the two goals. The later goal is to discover our identity with the Parabrahma. That is a main goal. That is ultimate. To give that Brahma Vidya, which alone gives the mukti, is the main theme of any of the Upanishads. Before that, to come out of the individual suffocations and sufferings, and also to get freely all the required things for sadhana, we are told in the beginning the upasana of the totality or Mahat Brahma. So we are doing the Mahat Brahma Upasana through the Samhita Upasana, through the Medha Upasana, through Avahanti Upasana, through the Vyaharati Upasana, through the Pankta Upasana, including Omkar. Om is the one where the Mahat Brahma Upasana ke sath Parabrahma Upasana also is added. Till this time, Parabrahma is kept as the goal, but Mahat Brahma Upasana is indicated for us to be done so that we rise above our own individual either identities or limitations. Identity with individuality pulls us to live the life at the individual level. Limitation of individuality means the lacking of the resources. When we tune to the totality or Mahat Brahma, the individual identity because of which we were living only as the Upadhi Yukta Jiva, that is transcended. And again, because of our identity with the Mahat Brahma, our limitations of the resources for doing sadhana are, what do you say, the limitations are reduced or we become infinitely resourceful through the Mahat Brahma Upasana, say by the grace of that Mahat Brahma. Like Omkara and Mahat Brahma, we pray to him to give us the Medha Shakti, Medhaya Sprunatu. Same Omkara and Mahat Brahma, we ask him to give us all the wealth so that we do all the Upasana, Yajna Karma for the Upatakshaya. And it so happens that when we that way tune to the total, which is in Purana Kala as Rama and Krishna and Shiva, in the Vedic period as Ishvara or Mahat Brahma or Samashti, Sukshma Sharirabmani, who is a caterer to every individual's needs, we can certainly see that all the resources required for the higher, deeper sadhanas are given, and all our bondages to the lower upadhis of an individuality binding us to continuous jiva, we are freed from all that. That is why the need of all these upasanas so importantly set in the beginning of this Upanishad. And once we enter into the Brahma Vidya topic, it is exclusively Brahma Vidya. These things won't be discussed much. And unless at this level these sadhanas are done, we are not qualified for the higher next sadhana of Brahma Upasana. Having said these things, now we are into the Pranava Upasana. We have seen how these two sentences are to be thoroughly understood. The sentence number one, Om iti Brahma. The second one is Om iti idagam sarvam. First one is Om iti Brahma. Om is Brahma alone. So here Shabda Rupa Brahma is Om. That way Manasa Dharayet. Bhagavan Adi Shankara told. After accepting the Om as Brahma's Shabda Rupa, after accepting the Omkara as Brahma Tattva's Shabda Rupa, therefore the Upasana of the Om helps us. Now, how the Omkara is also the Apara Brahma, it is said in the second line. Om iti idam sarvam. And how Om idam sarvam, we have analyzed and shown that idam sarvam, whether it is our inner world or the outer world, whether it is Jagrada Avastha or Swapna Avastha or Turiya Avastha, all these three avasthas are anubhutis, anubhavas. And wherever there are anubhavas, there is the world. Wherever there is a world, the world is of forms. Wherever the world is of forms, the world is of names. And every of the form depends on the names. Every name depends on the sounds. And finally, every sound is nothing but the expanse of Om with its three matras of A, U, Ma. Thus, the A, U, Ma matra yukta Omkara is permeating every sound. And the sounds alone are the objects. And objects alone are giving us the anubhutis. And the anubhutis alone is making the life in the form of idam. Therefore, idam sarvam also om only. This is the intellectual analysis of why idam sarvam is om. And this we have to, with our deep intellectual inquiry, we have to think for ourselves and feel in ourselves confirmedly, convincingly. Therefore, the om is idam sarvam and om iti brahma. So, the Om iti Brahma is the Akshara Para Brahma. Om iti Brahma is the Apara Brahma or the Kshara Brahma. Both of them is Om. Now, do the Nirdharana about it in the heart. Problem with all of us is that Nirdharana doesn't happen. Therefore, with the same doubt or confusion or vagueness, only we continue doing our all upasanas half-heartedly. because of which our involvement is not fully there, therefore we don't get a benefit. See, like a friend you have, wholeheartedly if you accept him as the friend, and with that the way we involve with him in friendship, half-heartedly we take him as friend, and with that attitude, with the half mind and doubt and suspicion, we involve with him. Is not there any doubt? Is there any? Is not there a difference? A lot of difference is there. So too when we work in a job, in a company, wholeheartedly with loyalty and honesty, working in the company, thus enjoying the work, doing our best, helping in the company's growth, and half-heartedly working in such a way that any opportunity comes, I jump from it with that half-hearted mind. There's a difference in performance. So too in any other relation, the wife and husband, wholeheartedly when they mutually trust, accept each other, the joy is different. Throughout the life, if they have some fighting with each other, some non-acceptance of one or two things, then that much performance of being a husband or wife will not be so joy giving. Same way between the guru and disciple. If the guru doesn't accept the disciple wholeheartedly, कि ये मेरा चेला है, I'll see to it that he will understand the truth, he will do sadhana and reach to the ultimate goal, then the guru's attention, value, importance to be given to disciple for his sadhana will not be of that much flavor. Same way, if the disciple has his own doubts and vaguenesses regarding his acceptance of the Guru wholeheartedly, then he will come one day, will not come one day, will ask one day, will not ask one day, will do what Guru says sometime, many times he doesn't do that. Sometime he does namaskar, many times doesn't do. Kabhi kabhi, see the vagueness. Same thing is happening to us when we take Bhagwan Rama or our Ishtadeva, but there is not complete acceptance. Therefore, kabhi karte hain, kabhi nahi karte. Understood? Any devata we take as upasya. So everything in our life, when it is becoming a habit of doing half-heartedly, performance will not be the fully well. Result also will not be so. In the same way, when we fully, totally are accepting it, convinced about it, that is called Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Nischaya Rupena, then there is no doubt. Like Arjuna. When he came to the war, he came to war only with two minds, whether I fight or not. Then when he asked Krishna, take me in between the army, he was taken there. Then what was inside him as a vagueness has become such a biggest doubt and suspicion. And he was in such a doubt suspicion whether I should fight the war or not. In both ways, he imagined that there is a loss. Karo ya na karo yuddha. Then from that hesitating, doubtful mood of the mind, he took absolutely wrong decision of not fighting the war. The consequences which would have been very dire and very negative and very problematic to himself as an individual, to the entire society, which needs the dharma to protect it. Be aware of it. His doubtful, suspicious mind has prompted him to take a wrong decision. What Bhagavan did entire Gita is only making Arjuna doubtlessly convinced about the immediate goal of fighting the war and the ultimate goal of knowing the truth. Between these two, fighting the war in which you kill your own people and discovering the truth, seemingly there is no relation and they are even contradictory to each other. ये तो प्रवृत्ति वाला है, ये तो निवृत्ति वाला है, यहाँ तो लोगों को मारना है, यहाँ तो लोगों को प्रेम करना है. And yet, it was genius of Krishna which he established the connectivity relation between this immediate outer job of killing the others and the inner ultimate goal of the truth. Equally, Arjuna also got convinced. The relation between the war I have to fight out now and the inner goal of Parabrahma later on. Immediately ये करना ही पड़ेगा. And doubtlessly involved, therefore he could succeed. Finishing in that war as a victorious person, later on taking the spiritual path and reaching ultimate. In the same way, for you and me, Omiti Brahma, Omiti Idagam Sarvam. When this is once, twice, thrice, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times contemplated, then we have to come to the conclusion, the strong, convincing conclusion that therefore Om is the Parabrahma, Om is the Parabrahma. Therefore, Om now is a full fledged, completely involving alambana for me for doing the upasana. If this conviction doesn't come, then we won't do it seriously, sincerely, regularly, all the time. Benefit also will not come to us. That's why last 2 3 days, quoting all the scriptures, giving all the explanations and logics, we are arriving at the glory of the Omkaram, so that we take it wholeheartedly as the support for our upasana. Omiti Brahma, Omiti Idam Sarvam. There should be no doubt. And at a higher level of spirituality studied in other shastras, we already have, to some extent at least, an information, if not the complete conviction, that there is only Parabrahma reality. On that, the entire world of names and forms is superimposed, taking which as reality we are bound, called as samsara. And we become mukta only by discovering the Parabrahma, and the Parabrahma can be discovered only by coming out of the reality given to Rupanama or transcending Rupanama. And what helps us in transcending the Rupanama is the Upasana. And among so many Upasanas, the most accepted and time tested and traditionally accepted and done Upasana is the Pranava Upasana. The other side, that knowledge also should be there. My goal is to realize the absolute Brahma right now for me in my understanding, acceptance, and performance. I am seeing the world of plurality and multiplicity. Theoretically, what is said is all this multiplicity, plurality, how much ever substantial, real it is appearing, it is only appearance on the absolute truth. Not only it is an appearance, but this is the cause of all the bondages and limitations to me. I have to transcend this. I have to reach to that transcendental pure Brahma Tattva. For that, before attempting the higher, deeper meditations, to a great extent, I have to come out of this delusory world of names and forms. What helps is Upasana. So, these are the variety of Pauranika Upasanas where you do the Upasana of Rama and Krishna in your Puja Mandiram and keep that impression in your heart that I am the Upasaka and the idol is Rama or Krishna. Come back, come into the world and look at the world also. The Rama Krishna Rupa and continue yourself as Upasaka of the world till I, the Upasaka, the world is Upasya. Alone is predominantly remaining. No more the world is seen as object of enjoyment, nor I am the enjoyer of the world. This is the purpose of the Upasana which we see in the Puranas. So to here the Pranava, Upasana has to be done so exhaustively that in our mind the Upasana of the Pranava, I the Upasaka of it alone should remain. All the other world of names and forms should be wiped away from our system. Then we sit for meditation in which what exactly the truth, what exactly is the reality, what exactly the transcendental thing beyond all the expressions, beyond all the appearances, whether the appearances as are the Ishvara or the Hiranyagarbha or all the Devata Rupa, whether they are the appearances of the Rupa Namatmaka Jagat, having all the things in it with all the Svedaja, Andaja, Jaraja, Udbija, 4 types of jivas. So the 4 types of jivas are there. All the objects needed for their survival also are there, and the lokas, places are there for them to stay, and all the karma they are doing, karma phala they are getting of going to different worlds. All of that is like a dream, like a projected movie on the screen. What is that substratum on which all this is playing? That is our goal, please remember, in Vedanta. how to reach to it. That will be our second attempt. Before that, to bring our mind to the absolute quietness, all the disturbances are gone, all the importance is given to the Rupanamatmaka Jagat is gone through the Upasanas. Upasana makes us freed from the world and worldliness so that we become qualified for contemplating on the absolute truth. If these upasanas are not done, always we are in the agitated mind, always we are in the attention given to the Rupanamatmaka Jagat. We will never be able to deeply transcend all this to perceive the subtle truth. Outer inner upasana किए बिना innermost परमात्मा का दर्शन हम नहीं कर सकते हैं. The outer inner upasanas, without doing them, we can't discover the innermost self. Or the grosser and subtler upasanas, if we don't do, the subtlemost trutha, which is very much permeated in the same gross and subtle, we cannot be perceiving them. So Upasana at one side removes the importance given to gross and subtle. At another side makes us subtle and qualified. At third side makes us do the contemplation on the absolute truth or reality, which is very subtle, very sublime. It is everywhere there. That alone is there, and yet so subtly hidden that unless we become so sukshma, we can neither understand it, nor perceive it, nor discover it, nor get identified with it. Only then there is mukti. So all the upasanas that way help us, provided we do all the upasanas with that purpose. Okay, the Guru will teach the disciple in the beginning, beta Laksha is Parabrahma, but we are caught up in the inner and outer, gross and subtle worlds. To come out of that, we have to do the upasanas. So the Karma Yoga Upasana, the ashrama serving Upasana, and then in the ashram there is a temple saving, doing seva in the temple of the Upasana. Then the Lord gives the alabhana of any of this alagrama or Shivalinga, tells us do us that Upasana. Then he gives us subtle Upasana of any name of the Lord. Then he gives the Upasana of the OMKARA and do the Upasana of that. Purpose of all of that is this only, withdrawing our attention from the gross and subtle world of names and forms. Thus, we become qualified in our subtlety to focus on the absolute truth. उसके लिए ही सारे उपासनाएं होते हैं. So now we are speaking from last 3 days, but as a speaker, me, as an audience, you, how much we are convinced about the Om being the Brahma Para and Brahma Apara. That is where entire beginning starts about using Omkara for the Upasana. Omiti Brahma, Omiti Idam Sarvam. Om iti Brahma because everything is Brahma, and Om is Shabda Rupa Brahma. Like the fan. Fan is fan Rupa Brahma. The walls. They are the wall Rupa Brahma. The entire earth is nothing but the earth Rupa Brahma. That way everything is Brahma. Rupadu. Rupadu means made, given a Rupa. Every ornament is the formed gold only. Is it not? Every wave is the formed water only. Every pot is a formed mud. In the same way, the Om is form as a name. The Shabda Rupa Brahma. Everything is Brahma and Om is Shabda Rupa Brahma because of so many Upanishads have told it, because so many Rishis Munis have that way took Om as Shabda Rupa Brahma, and through the Upasana of the Om they have reached the Brahma. Therefore we have no doubt to accept it. So to Om iti idam sarvam. Everything is Om. This we have explained. Now, some examples are given as to how Om is used as Upasana, Madhyamam, and also are being benefited by, blessed by the Omkara as Upasana Madhyamam. And what was prevalent in the Vedic period was the Yajna. Right from the childhood, the children are exposed to the Yajna culture tradition. But every day they used to have the Agnihotra. Like nowadays, every occasion comes, we are busy with caterer and food and all that. कोई भी प्रोग्राम मतलब भोजन, हमको इस तरह का आजकल ट्रेनिंग है. Those days, anything is means yagnam. So they are familiar with the entire scenario of the yagna very clearly. And that has become a very easy helping thing for the Guru to give that yagna shala as an example for the disciple to prove to him that how the ritviks they are involved there were using the pranava beginning mein, middle mein, end mein, while doing all the prakriyas there, while doing the chanting of all the mantras there. So this shows that very senior people know that Om is Parabrahma, Mahat Brahma. Then we are taking the help of the Om only to invoke the grace of Om only. And not so senior people also are following what the senior people are doing. In short, there was Omkara more predominantly used throughout the yajna. So the activities are going on, the uttering of the mantras is going on, yet Om is predominantly given importance and value. With the knowledge again that the entire yajna prakriya came from the Vedas, Vedas have come from the Omkar. Through this yajna, I want a result. The result also is given by the Omkara Rupa Paramatma only. So, Om is the giver of the Vedas. Om is the giver of all the items required for doing the yajna. And Om is the one which is given the Vedas in which the mantrocharana are there. And Om is the one finally, the Mahat Brahma, who gives the results here. In this way, they had the understanding and understanding oriented respect and reverence for the Om to such an extent that they don't want to forget the Om at any cost. Therefore, many of the communication they do as Om only. Like in the Rama Bhakta Mandali group, let us say, somehow they got dedicated to the Rama Bhagwan. They made a group. Not to forget the Rama, don't they tell to the devotees, जहाँ जरूरत है, जहाँ संभव है, हर जगह use the word Ram Ram, is it not? When they are in the dining hall, to the serving of the food, Dal Ram, Dal Ram, Dal Ram, they go on saying it. Chawal Ram, Chawal Ram, Chawal Ram. I've seen all that. Roti Ram, Roti Ram, Roti Ram. They are Rama Bhakta. They don't want to forget Rama because they are serving dal, chawal, roti. Therefore, they add Rama to all. They come meet Ram Ramji. They'll going also Anji Jare Ji Ram Ram. In Uttara Bharata, this is very famous. Aya Ram, Gaya Ram, that is political. But in all their meeting, Ram Ramji, kaise hai? When people are seated somewhere in the under the tree, कोई भी जा रहे भी वहां से उनको देखा, राम राम जी, राम राम, देखो. And when they sit also, हे राम, when they get up also, हे राम, सोने के लिए हे राम, बीमारी है तो हे राम, सब गड़बड़ हो गया, हे राम. Don't you see that? So famous. Same thing when you go to Mathura Vrindavan, you say, they all say either Krishna Krishna or Kanha Kanha, or it is difficult that way to utter Krishna Kanha. So they say Radha. Jai Radhe. Radhe Radhe means Rasta do. Radhe Radhe means wo wala patila do. Radhe Radhe means Ajao. Radhe Radhe means wishing there. When you go to Vishwanath Bhagavan, Jai Vishwanath, Jai Bholenath, Jai Shambhunath, Jai Kashinath. Don't you see that? When you go to Gangaji, Har Har Gange, Jai Jai Gange. We do it so much. So too, in that Vedic period, all these were not developed. They all came later. For them, in this way, everything is Om, Om, Om. आया तो ओम, बैठे तो ओम, डिस्कशन शुरू हुआ तो ओम, जा रहे तो ओम. Everything is Om Maya for them. With the knowledge that Om is Parabrahma, Om is Mahat Brahma. As Parabrahma, Om gives me the ultimate truth, liberation. As a Mahat Brahma, Om gives me all whatever I need for my own survival, sustenance, whatever. In this way, though they are involved in the prakriya called as yajna, in which so many objects are handled, so many processes are done, so much of the ahuti ityadi are given, so many mantras are done, but they never lost the sight of Omkara. To prove that, didn't you see, my child, when you were in Yagnishala, all the Yajamanas, the audience, the Hota, the Advaryu, the Udgata, the Brahma, whatever they were doing Om only. So, all these subsequent mantras are proof to say that there in the Yajnishala, they used Omkara as their Takya Kalam or their respectful, reverential Upasana Madhyamam. They are all the examples only to inspire us. But the main thought is said in the first two lines only. Omitim Brahma, Omiti Idam Sarvam. Therefore, do the Upasana of the Om as Parabrahma and Mahat Brahma and be blessed. Because the Parabrahma and Mahat Brahma directly are not perceivable nor seeable, but they are there. And we need the help and blessings from them. For that, we have to tune. For tuning, there should be some means. The means is Upasana. To do the Upasana, you need an Alambana. Alambana is Pranava. So, those two mantras. Any examples, sir? We have given example of Upanishad and Gita and Patanjali Yoga Sutra ityadi. Here, the Guru is giving the example of Yagnashala. How in the Yagnashala, how Om was consciously, deliberately used as a support, means as an alambana for doing everything with the knowledge that this Om is the representative of Parabrahma and Mahat Brahma. That faith by which they took Om as Mahat Brahma, Parabrahma symbol or the Alambana, they went on doing Upasana. And then miraculously, because we can't understand intellectually, that blessings from Om Rupa Parabrahma or Mahat Brahma in terms of both the outer worldly achievements and inner spiritual unfoldment started happening to them. Like miraculously, when you go on saying Rama, 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 through the Rama Krupa, it happens. Like Bhagavan Adi Shankara did the Stotram to Mother Lakshmi through Kanakadara. Miraculously, the Kanakavarsha came, see, under the guidance of Vasishthaji. Dasarathji did the Uttarakameshti Yajnam. See, wonderfully that Kheer Payasam is brought and then it is given, then Bhagavan is born as Rama. Is it not? Bhagavan advised Devatas and Rakshasas did the churning. See, that Dhanvantari came and brought that Amrutam. Don't you see when faithfully these things followed, the results followed it? You know, when the Kheti mein, the farmer, when he sows all the seeds, don't you see the miracle of the plants coming? See, when we eat the food, are we not seeing the miracle of the energies that are coming? When you lie down, sleep for 6 hours, don't you see the freshness that is coming to us? Everywhere, with faith, when you do, results are coming. Don't you see? With love, when you talk to others, the other person also reciprocates and gives you the help required. हर जगह आपको क्या दिख रहा है कि जो पाना है उसके लिए जो करना है श्रद्धा से करो तो वो मिल जाता है. So for them, the yajna was the means for achieving everything, this world and that world. Here they used to do for a long time the dravya yajnas. Later on, they will shift to the jnana yajna. In both cases, they had full faith, and for them, the alambana was Om. And what is the belief about Om? Om is Parabrahma, Om is Mahat Brahma. From the Om only all Vedas came. From the Om only all Veda mantras came. From the Om only all the dravyas in the world which are used for the yajna have come. Therefore, Om is all in all for them. Like मेरे राम ने मुझे घर दिया, मेरे राम ने सारे बैठने के लिए कुर्सियां दी. ये ना मेरे राम ने मुझे सारे घर के लोगों को दिए जो मुझे प्रेम करते हैं। मेरे राम ने नौकरी दिलाई, मेरे राम मुझे वो तनख्वाह दिला रहे वहाँ। डोंट यू अंडरस्टैंड? It is true also because it is the Lord only who has to give everything. देने वाला वही होना चाहिए और जो वस्तु मिल रहा है वो भी वही होना चाहिए और जो काम करना पड़ता है वो भी भगवान ही होना चाहिए बिकॉज एवरीथिंग इज भगवान. This is what is understood when you study thoroughly the Vishnu Sahasranama with Bhashyam. Nowadays, the Telugu people are listening. In the Vishnu Sahasranama, what is proved ultimately is everything manifest, unmanifest, gross and subtle, the knowledge, the activity, and the dravya, everything is Vishnu Maya. So, what is said as Vishnu there is said as Omkara here. Om alone is expressing as Vishnu. Vishnu is the expression of Om. Om is A, O, Ma, three matras coming from the Amatra. The Amatra is the silent, unmanifest Parabrahma. देखो many times these things when we listen contemplate then the clarity starts happening and for that we have to make our minds thoda sattvic and for that we have to change our food change our habits involve in vigorous nama japa kirtana bhajana then seva of the world love the world forgive the world ये सारा कर करके अंतःकरण शुद्ध होने के बाद उस शुद्ध अंतःकरण से these type of subtle upasanas when we do then we see the results happening. Even to understand all this we need to attend satsang every day unbroken throughout life. Then only the maturity start happening in every day's listening. कभी सुना कभी नहीं सुना तो कुछ भी पल्ला नहीं पड़ता. Without understanding how can do sadhana. So Om iti Brahma exhaustively explained. Om iti idam sarvam exhaustively explained. Now the proof of Om being adopted as an alambana by all these great people in one particular Yajnashala and in every Yajnashala. Like when you see Ganapati ke festival mein, in every pandal you will see the modak. In every pandal you will see the arati done to Ganapati. It is common. They all have accepted it like that. In the same way, in every Yajnashala, everybody does Yajna taking Om as Alambana. In what way the Om is used, that is what is the explanation. So yesterday we saw the first one, Omit Brahma, Omit Idagam Sarvam, Omit Yetat Anukruti Hasmava. This much we explained yesterday. Om is used as the Anukaranam as both the permission granted, also the report is accepted, and when it is required, the order given. Om is used. Means what? Accepted by both the receiver as well as the giver. The authority of Om as the giver of permission and giver of or this giver of permission as well as acceptance. So they did the upasana of it, and the work happened. Like what? We study this karomi yasyami va iti. तो all of that मैं जा रहा हूँ और मैं ये कर रहा हूँ या मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ. Guru Maharaj, when the disciple said to Guru, or I have done that, or I have come back, iti, then krutam, uktam. सो करना था, करना चाहिए, करने जा रहा हूँ या करके आया हूँ या बोलना चाहता हूँ या बोल चुका हूँ या जाना चाहता हूँ, गया हूँ, आया हूँ. गुरु, these are all the words by the disciple. What the Guru gave Anukruti for all of that? Om means, can I go, sir? Om. Sir, I have come. Om. Sir, I want to say something. Om. Sir, this is what I wanted to say. I said it. Om. I want to do this. Om. I have done this, sir. Om. I want to go there. Om. I came back. Om. So going and coming, doing and stopping to do or the end of the work or talking with the mouth. आना जाना बोलना काम करना इसके लिए जो भी परमिशन चाहिए था ओम ओम के रूप में हो रहा था. सो दैट इज एन एग्जाम्पल, दैट्स एन अथॉरिटी. So they have adopted Om that way as a Upasana mantra. And in the heart of both of them, the disciple and Guru, formality may the Guru, disciple asks the permission, formality may the Guru gives the permission, though, but heart in heart both of them know that the going or coming or talking or stopping to talk or doing something or not, all of them are within Om, which is Paramatma. ये भाव से है. What is important is bhav. Like when I say Ram, 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 don't stop at the name Rama level. Then see that Rama, be attentive. Tattva alone is permeated in everything. That is called the higher and true upasana of the Rama. Only uttering with the mouth about name of Rama will have only that much influence. Then that is not complete upasana. Later on, Rama should be involved in everything. That's what the meaning of Dal Ram, Roti Ram, Chawal Ram. Means what? The one who gave the dal is Rama. The one who made the dal consumable is Rama. The one who put this dal in the balti is Rama. Now I am serving also is Rama. To whom? The Rama. That is what in Gita, 4th chapter, 24th shloka. Brahma arpanam, Brahma havihi, Brahma agnau, Brahmana hutam, Brahma eva tena gantavyam, Brahma karma samadhina. That Brahma here is Om. So Om arpanam, Om havihi, Om agnau, Omena hrutam, Om eva tena gantavyam, Om karma samadhina. Ramarpanam, Ramavihi, Ramagnav, Ramana Hutam, Ramena Hutam. Rama eva tena gantavyam, Rama karma samadhina, Krishna karma samadhina. You understand? This is what consciously, while doing, we have to merge all our dissimilar thoughts in the common single similar thought of Rama or Krishna or Brahma or Om. It is called Upasana. To such an extent that so many words and forms which made a world and which made us bound to the world is dissolved in one Om. देखो यूज करने के लिए वस्तुस बहुत होते हैं बट उस कारण से वो द मेनीनेस शुड नॉट बिकम ऑर्डर ऑफ लाइफ व्हाट टू डू देन therefore use one common denominator so that the oneness is not forgotten. The point is oneness, the point is substratum. On that one substratum only the manyness is projected. We are caught up in the projection. That is called samsara. We want to come out of samsara. How? By transcending the projected multiplicity. How to do it? By finding the common denominator. That was said as Maha 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 in our Vyahruti Upasana. Pangtam 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 in the Pangta Upasana. Om 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 here in the Om Upasana. कौन सा करे इसमें से सारे करो राइट फ्रॉम शिक्षा अध्याय ऑनवर्ड्स एवरी उपासना गिवन बाय उपनिषद रेस्पेक्ट इट एंड डू इट बट नाउ फॉर द उत्तराधिकारी उत्तम अधिकारी द इनर उपासना इज ऑफ प्रणव सो इन दैट ओमिति एतत् अनुकृति डन सो ओमिति एतत् अनुकृति मीन्स अनुकरणम इज परमिशन सो करोमि यास्यामि वा इति कृतम उक्तम Om iti anukaroti anyaha. So Om iti. So either he takes permission to do and does the work and reports. At both cases, the anyaha, to whomever he is saying Om. It can be the guru or it can be another person, a part of the group of activity. And his activity depends on my action because he is his next step. So I have done my job. I said, I mane kar diya re baba, Om. With the Guru Maharaj, can I go Om? I have come back Om. Amma. In this way, in the Anukarana, Omkara is used. Clear? Now the next one. In the main mantra, what is said? Hasmava are the Nipatas. What is Hasmava? Hasmavai iti prasiddha artha avadhyotakaha. Hasmavai, these are the three particles to say that using Om for consent is very prasiddha, very famous, very regular, very everywhere you see that. Don't you see so? Oh, I have seen, sir. Yes. The Hasmavai, the Nipatas are told only to say that this is prasiddha. Like I told you in the ashramas, that particular भगवान और गुरु का नाम लेते सारे काम होते हैं, वो वहाँ वो प्रसिद्धि है. If you go in our country to very many ashramas, whoever believe whatever devata or whatever guru, उनका नाम वो लेते हैं. Is it not? It's so interesting. They are involved in that. That is what will make them cross the ocean of samsara. That is a great support they are having. So here also Hasmava, don't you see the Om being used for Anukaranam? Yes. So is the Prasiddha. Prasiddha is famous. Is very much seen in the world. Okay. Yeah. Then next line was what? Api O Shravayati A Shravayanti is the next way of reaching using the Omkara. What is that said here? Next one is sorry, Hasmava iti prasiddhartha avadhyotakaha prasiddham hi Omkarasya anukrutitvam. It is very famous that for giving anukaranam or permission and the acceptance also report, Omkara is very famously used. हो गया. जैसे जो अभी कहा हमने, when in English people when they meet each other, hello, they say. So it is very famous. The hello is a pleasantry or greeting. Like every doctor, when the patient comes, how are you now? He asks. I gave you medicine, you took it, treatment is done. Are you improving? How are you now? प्रसिद्ध है वो. हर जगह पे अपने चीज प्रसिद्ध होते हैं. यहाँ भी प्रसिद्ध है ओम. That is over now. Now second one, apicha, and also second way of using omkara, o shravaya iti praishapurvakam. Praisha purvakam means o shravaya means what? That fellow disciple who is supposed to do the mantra ucharana is lost in doing that ucharana, either because he was caught up in the action or he was little lazy and sleep. Immediately the guru says, oh, Om. The moment he says Om, immediately the disciple understand, अरे मैं तो भूल गया हूँ कि मुझे वेद मंत्र पढ़ना है. Or this particular mantra I have to do at this time. Om, he says, at that moment. Means what? Shravaya. Om iti Shravaya. Om api cha o Shravaya iti praishapurvakam. Praishapurvakam is reminding. भुलक्कड़ होते हैं, भूल जाते हैं. They get lost in nidra, in distraction, in talking to somebody, in doing the activity. So, and the guru is or the main supervisor of the yajna is aware of what is to be done at what time. Like when you do the construction of a building, the purpose or the work of that main maestri or contractor is supervise everybody's every action. In some one of the program or activity, if somebody is talking to each other and forgot what to do, does he not go and tell him, "अरे पानी डाला कि नहीं?" You understand? हर सर भूल गया मैं, कैसे भूल जाते हो? जाओ करो, do the curing. They were not deliberately doing, but it just happened. 1 घंटा, आधा घंटा सो जाते हैं या दूसरों से गप्पे मारने लगते हैं या घूमने जाते हैं. Then they forget. Then they are reminded, hey, this is the time to do that. Like at your own house also, every day. I'm sure this must have happened to you now. Moment is 7:30. If you are still not coming to the class, somebody of the house must be telling you, oi, oi. That's say, oi means what? You understand? They are telling me and remind me of my class. समटाइम यू कहते हैं, कहने से इसका अर्थ है आके गाड़ी में पीछे बैठो. We use the symbols, words, different annotations or the expressions. So there, oh, Shravaya, Om is said by him. The meaning of it is Shravaya. How did you forget the mantra Ucharan at that time? Do it. Ashravayanti. Immediately they pick up the order from the Om and they start doing the chanting, whatever is to be done at that time. In the music concerts also, when the main singer is there, choruses are there, and the instrumentalists. In the instrumentalists also many. So the one who coordinates all these three, see with all the various hand symbols and facial expressions, he orders the main singer, then Esakega, then he says the chorus please pick up, then he shifts to the musicians, he says Baki sab ruk jao, only the flute or harmonium will play for some time, then everybody, so all that actions. Even the band vagara may be, there is one coordinator for all that. In the same way here, Om. Immediately that fellow understood, hey, I have to chant it. Shravayante, they do the Shravanam. Shravanam is Shravanam, chanting karna. Goes on chanting without stop. Jahan tak hona. So in this way, and it is a everyday affair. The Guru is more concerned than them. He is concerned about the entire program. Like a tour operator, then he's more concerned than the tourists because he'll have to take all of them to all places on time and show them. Tourists are excited to know, but along with that, they have many other delays, many other lazinesses, many other extra things to be collected. So he goes on pushing them. Oh, ये सीटी बजाता है वो. का अर्थ क्या हुआ? तुम लेट कर रहे हो, जल्दी आ जाओ वगैरह करके. Feel the meaning. In so many examples we are going only to say how in that yajna also by using the word Om, he is ordering them to do the chanting. And by receiving the order to chant from the word Om, they do the chanting. So Shravaya, Shravayanti. By saying Om, he is ordering Shravaya. Then they don't say Om, they do the Shravanam, they chant the mantra. They receive the order. The earlier one, they took the permission to go somewhere to do something. For that also, Guru said Om. Here, they had to do the chanting and they forgot at that time. Guru Om, he said. They remembered immediately. He is hinting me. Then they do the chanting. So, Omiti Brahma, Omiti Idagam Sarvam, Omiti Etat Anukruti Hasmava, Abhi O Shravaya A Shravayanti. Understood? O Shravaya Ashravanti, Apyo Shravaya iti Ashravanti. See, when you break the words and understand, you see the joy of it. Chanting has its own joy. And Asmava Apyo Shravayetya Shravanti. But now O Shravaya Ashravanti. Oh, yeah. Then comes the another aspect in the Yajnashala of praising the God whom we are offering the oblations to through the Samagana. Samagana is Giti Pradhanam, where there's a beautiful musical expression of the love or the devotion. जैसे आप भी प्यार करते हो अपने बच्चों को या कुत्ते को, डोंट यू डू इन ए म्यूजिकल वे प्यारा बेटा मेरा बेटा. While doing a scolding, you don't do like that. Is it not? While scolding, the tone is different. You don't say Mera Pyara Gada Ullu ka Patta Nakti Nalayak. You don't say like that. There is a different tone. But when you love it, मैं नन्ना कुछ प्यारा बंदा है, you do that. So too the Sama is a Gita in which the Bhagavan is lovingly praised or prayed for whatever he is giving us. Sama Veda, Gita Pradhanam. All other Rigveda mantras are there are karma pradhana. Yajurveda are dhyana pradhana. Samaveda is praising pradhana. They all do the praising. Mahima ka gunugan karna. So here also Om iti samani gayanti. So the moment the Guru says Om, immediately in the process of yajna, the next step is to make the Lord, who is the Adhisthana in the yajna, pleased through Om Samaveda. They take up Om, starting with Om, they do their Samaveda Parayana. Om iti samani gayanti. Means Om is the order given from his side. If they forget or they themselves ask for the order, so can we do the Samaveda Parayanam? Om. Then they said Om Ha Ho Ha Ho Ha Ho Ahamannam Ahamannam Ahamannam. These are all Samaveda. Very tough to learn them. So first one is what? Omiti Agni, Omiti Anukruti, Asmava, then O Shravaya, Asravayanti. Third one is Omiti Samani Gayanti. So Tata Omiti Samani Gayanti Samagaha. So these Samagana making Udgatas, they do the Samaganam starting with Om, and permission given to them also is by the Om only when the Guru utters. Next comes Ogam Shom Iti Shastrani Shamsanti Shastra Samhitaraha. So all these, the Shastra Samhitaraha, those who praise other devatas other than the main devata, they are called as Shastra Samhitaraha. Here the Shastra is not the weapons. Okay, it is the praise again of the other devatas. That is called a Shastra. So Shastra Samhita. Like we do the Narayanaka Japa Upa. Then we do the Vishwaksenam, Hayagrivam. All of them also would do. So here that way he says, Om Shomiti Shastrani Shamsanti Shastra Shamsitaraha Api. Shamsitaraha means prashamsa karne wale, praise karne wale. Shastra Samhitaraha means the ones who praise the other helping gods around. So they also are given the order of Om, receiving the order from the Om. They start again with the Om only. They do the chanting of those particular mantras of the pleasing of those devatas. So in this way, Om Shom Iti Shastrani Shamsanti is the main mantra. Shastra Samhitara Api. Even the Shastra Samhitara also receive Om as order, use the Om as beginning for doing their शस्त्र संहिता मंत्र उच्चारण. सो तो सामवेद वाले ओंकार करेंगे, ये लोग भी ओंकार करेंगे. देन जब भूल जाएंगे तब याद भी ओंकार से कराते गुरु. देन वो लोग सुनकर गुरु से ऑर्डर आश्रावयंती, दे स्टार्ट देयर चैंटिंग. नाउ कम्स तथा ओम इति. नेक्स्ट वन अध्वर्युः प्रतिगरम प्रतिगृणाति. ओके, द अध्वर्यु प्रतिगरम प्रतिगृणाति. So pratigaram means what? The next items that have to be passed on from one person to the other to offer to the Agni Ahuti or any other steps that are involved. So there is offering of oblation to the fire. This is not the only thing that is there in the yajnam. There is, you offer the flower also, you offer the water also, you offer the akshatas also around the yajna kunda, depending on each of the steps while doing the yajna. So at that time, he is asking someone for the item, or somebody is giving the item and he'll have to receive. This called as pratigaram. The things to be passed are called pratigaram, and taking that is called as pratigranati, receiving. And that one who does it called adhvaryu. Adhvaryu, I told you yesterday, the one in whose adhvaryam everything happens. So all the items come to him. He will open the potly, the packets. Then he will see what are there. Then he knows who are seated for the yajna. And to each of them, he only supplies. The ghee wale ko ghee de diya. और दूसरे को दूसरा दे दिया. But to him, they all come. And in the process also, if this person is here, this person is there, the item is there. From there, the item has to be passed to there. Then he becomes the medium to take it and give it to him. Imagine that whole thing that is happening. Then, while doing that of asking the thing required, receiving the thing given, and passing on that thing to next one, the Advaryu uses the mantra Om only. Om iti Advaryuhu pratigaram pratigrunati. People are very alert there. They know all the steps. They are only everything they are trained in. While doing so, he becomes a reminder for them. Arey, next item ye aana chahiye. He doesn't say next item ye wala de do. He says Om. Immediately they pass it. Then in the other fellow is doing yajna. He needs to change the offering now. But he is not remembering that it is doing this. He is doing same. Then this Advaryu gives this to that person saying Om. Om. Om means what? Enough of those offerings. Now do the offering of this one. Like Bhojana. When you sit for food, the one who's serving, he'll not serve the dal only 24 ghante. Dal is over. Then you bring sabji, then you bring sambar, the rasam, and then buttermilk. One after the other, no? Like that, while doing so, Om, 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 it's called. So here the Advaryu is the one who is the main caterer, main in charge. And 100 people are seated there for eating. Then the serving team is there. Then he tells first, chalo ye item le jao. Second, ye item le jao. Third, ye wala. Fourth, ye. Then last mein mithai le jao. Then they bring a fruit also. Then they keep a pan also. Some ice cream. So he is doing all that. This is how here Advaryu also Pratigaram Pratigranati, he takes it and gives to others. Takes it and gives to others of what is next to be offered, what is next to be done. But the point of ours is what? While doing so, he is doing the word Om, Om, Om only. And he is soaked in. The entire activity and the objects that are involved in are nothing but Omkara only. So by that, he is involving the action which is inevitable and he is not forgetting Om, which is the goal. Is it not? Now, with this outer yajna practice where everywhere Om is involved, when you sit for meditation, at that time also, all the thoughts, all the forms in the thoughts, names in the thoughts, activities that are in the thoughts, they can be merged in Om. In such a way that Om alone remains in our conscious mind. All the thoughts of words and forms and names and activities are merged in Omkara. Then the Om is merged in the Parabrahma by merging A in the U in the Ma in the silence. So when you start doing it, you will understand. It can be demonstrated. So in this way, Om ityadvaryuhu pratigaram pratigrunati. Then Omiti Brahma Prasauti. Then Omiti Agnihotram Anujanati. Then Omiti Brahmana Pravakshannaha Brahmopapnavaniti Brahmaivopapnoti. These are the few more examples in which Om is used while doing the yajna. With this, our Omkara explanation will be over tomorrow. Then we will try to summarize what we saw in last 2 3 days. Though it is repeated once more as a ready reckoner in tomorrow's class, right from beginning, maybe in 15-20 minutes, we will be giving all the detail so that at least an information is ready for each one of us to contemplate upon, get convinced, and make use of Om as alambana for Upasana. And if somebody takes Om as Upasana Alambanam, nothing like that. And various notions are there about Pranava Upasana. Only sannyasis should do Omkara, others should not do. These are all at a lower level, people explain. See, for the sannyasi, no other name should be taken. Om alone should be taken. Rama and Krishna all are Puranic devatas, and in them so many Rupa Namas are there, Leelas are there. Mind gets distracted. Therefore, Om is the one which sublimates or quietens all the thoughts. Om is authorized by the Vedas, by the Upanishads, right from beginning of creation. Therefore, to a sannyasi, Om के अलावा कोई दूसरा मंत्र नहीं बोलना चाहिए for his highest sadhana. Then what is the notion developed after this? Om is should be done only by sannyasi. Then what is the next thing? Interesting point. That if you do the upasana of Om, then you become sannyasi. Means what? Then you have to give up your grahastha ashrama. Means what? You have to give up your indulgences. Means what? You have to give up samsara. Therefore, if you do the Omkara, you have to rise above the samsara. But you don't want to give up samsara. Therefore, best is don't do Omkara. Do Rama and Krishna so that they give you all the things required. Thus, you continue in your samsara. See, this is how in the time people, when they don't understand completely, with their half knowledge, when they give half information, the carriers add their own murkhata and how the twistings of the truths happen. You understand? गृहस्थों को ओंकार नहीं करना चाहिए, सन्यासियों को ओंकार करना नो, सन्यासियों को अवश्य ओंकार करना ही चाहिए. गृहस्थों को भी ओंकार करने से वो लोग भी सन्यासी के स्थिति में आ जाते हैं, provided they want to come. If they don't want to come, then there is a fear in them, then we don't do onkar. So this is how the notions have come. Now the proof is what? All this yajna is done by grahasthas only, they are not sannyasis. And are they not using Om? Is it not? ओम भगवान कृष्ण ने बढ़ाया, राम जी ने पढ़ाया, ओम भगवान कृष्ण and Rama, they lived growth ashram only. All these notions we have to avoid. One of the very important thing is what? Becoming upasaka, doing the upasana of the Lord through alambanam. That is the thing. Whether that alambana is Omkara ho, ya Rama ho, Krishna or Shiva ho, be serious and sincere in doing the upasana. Focus on that. Don't get carried away by the details. Don't get worried about the details much. Do the thing. Main concept समझो. I am upasaka, he is upasya, upasana alambanam is this. उस पे दिमाग लगा. All doubts, notions, fears, imaginations come to an immature people. बेचारे वो लोग उसी लेवल पे रहते because they have never heard Shastra seriously, regularly from the Guru. Those who listen from the Gurus, the satsanga, उनको doubts ज़्यादा नहीं होते because in every class the doubts are dispelled. They get conviction. They will do the things beautifully well. This is one of the major benefits of being regular in studying the Shastras under our Guru. Don't change the Guru also of listening. एक ही गुरु से सुनते रहो तो फिर ट्यूनिंग होता रहेगा. That's how it helps. Thank you. Now we'll study Vidurniti for some time. Om 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 Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Paramarashibhyo Namaha Parabrahmane Namaha Shrutimatre Namaha वेदव्यास वैशंपायन याज्ञवल्क्यादि समस्त सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः आदिशंकर गुरवे नमः तत्सत् ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु.